Hello everyone, Trisha, it's me Jenny, and it's time for another Not Naked video response to Trisha Hershberger's series The Naked Truth, where we talk as candidly and as truthfully as possible about a subject of us using straight out the shower, no makeup, first take, one take, etc, etc. Most people choose to be naked. I choose not to, but either way it's not a sexy thing, it's a being vulnerable and honest type thing. And in that same wingspan, I have to say that this is my hair is not wet. Usually it is. Today was a non-hair washing day. I was going to film this yesterday, and I had my shower and then I got in my PJs and then I fell asleep. So sorry. And the second part is this is not my first take, this is in fact my second take. My first take I got halfway through and then my SD card ran out of space, so I went through and deleted a load of stuff including the first take. So I'm bright button today. Today's subject is cheating okay, and when is it okay within context. The kind of example that Trisha brought up within that situation was, you know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it fall? And in the idea that if you don't tell someone that you have an affair and they don't know that you've had an affair, then, you know, they won't be hurt by it, so it's all fine. And my kind of rule within that sort of situation is that generally the truth will come out, and if the truth doesn't come out, that still, when there's secrecy, that negatively affects a relationship. When you can't have that communication and that honesty, that really does negatively affect a relationship, especially with something as large as an affair or a one-night stand or, you know, any sort of cheating. It does affect the relationship, and it is a big thing, particularly in, you know, monogamous relationships, when another partner turns it into a open relationship or an affair. That does affect the relationship, especially when one person believes another thing. Communication is key in any relationship, and when it comes to, if it's an open relationship, so be it, as long as it's discussed. If it's a polyamorous relationship, so be it. If it is on the surface, one side believes it is a monogamous relationship and the other one doesn't, or has affairs or has one-night stands, then that does affect the relationship. And if it's something that the person who is having the multiple relationships feels like they need to keep secret from their partner, feels like it's something that they have to hide, and knows that it's something that they have to hide, then it's something that they know in their heart is not right for that relationship. It's one of those things that, you know, I feel like a lot of people have the kind of like, ooh, it's secret and exciting. At that point, I know it's difficult for a lot of people, but why don't you just break up with someone or go into a relationship which is open or polyamorous? You know, there are options available other than deliberately hurting someone else for your own gratification. When it comes to the tree falling in the woods, just because it doesn't make any sound at the time doesn't mean that someone else can't walk by and see a broken tree. The truth usually does come out in some capacity or another, and I feel like it's a lot more harmful if it's kept secret. For example, if I was in a relationship with someone and they confessed to me that they'd had an affair during our relationship, then if they actually told me, I'd consider the situation. I'd consider the context, I'd consider the other person that they were with, and I could then also make an active decision in terms of my own personal psychological health and sexual health. If someone's had an affair, I would need to go to the doctor and see whether or not there's anything that I need to be tested for. And I'd also have to consider their relationship with that other person. Was it one night stand? Was it was it an ex? And then I'd make a decision on whether or not I wanted to continue with that relationship. If it's something that I find out about third or fourth hand, you know, I would consider it in a very different light. I very much a strong opinion that honesty is the best policy, and actually communication is really essential, 100%, when it comes to relationships. That's coming from someone who's never been in love, but who strives as an ideal within a relationship to have that. Yeah. Following on from that, I'm also one of those persons, from a personal standpoint, I don't think I ever would have an affair. I don't think I could personally be committed to a polyamorous or an open relationship. I just don't feel safe in that environment. I don't feel like it's a good for me personally, I don't feel like it's a good sexual place to begin, just because there's so much more factors that you need to take into account. There's so many more emotional factors when you've got multiple people in one relationship, and I don't feel like I would ever have an affair. I feel like I have the perspective that if I feel like a relationship is not working, then I shall break up and there are other fish. If I feel like, I don't think I'd ever have a time when I was drunk and I'd just fall into someone else's bed. I don't really feel like I'm that sort of person. I very much am very cautious about how much I drink, just on principle. And I know I'm kind of the exception to a lot of normal rules for a lot of people, but I'm very much careful about how much I drink and how my brain manages when I've been drinking. I don't think that for me personally would be an excuse, and if my partner were to confess to it, I'd have to consider that as an aspect. But for me personally, I hold myself to the standard that I wouldn't cheat on someone else, so I don't expect it from someone that I am with. But there we go, that's just my opinion. This was meant to be a short video, but it's not. Yeah, hopefully it's something useful. I don't know if I have. Feel free to comment. And yeah. Thank you, Trisha, for the subject, and I'll see you guys all next week for another Naked Truth, and tomorrow for another daily vlog of some kind. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye, guys.